Hello Internet, Austin Smith here with a video that's essentially a part 2 to a video I made a long time ago about strange dice. These ones, in fact. I had a lot of strange dice, all sorts of shapes, sizes, numbers of sides, etc. And I've gotten some more and I wanted to share those with you. They're pretty cool. So let's just jump right into it. We've got a few replacements for dice that we had last time. This one's a D3. 1, 2, 3. Of course, it's not a true D3 like the one we had last time that was just had rounded edges, and so this corner kind of wasn't an edge. This obviously has more than 3 sides, but you'll probably get a number like that is 1. That is also 1. I'm just bad at rolling it. Anyway, we've got a truncated, I believe they call this, D4, so everyone who complains about a 4-sided die being painful to step on, caltrop sort of thing, this one's the one for you. Sides are cut off, and the numbers are actually printed on the faces there so that it's easier, I guess they're stamped actually, it's easier to read. So you don't have to go through that complicated thing. If it's the number that's facing up that you can read, it's right there, like a normal die. So I think that's an improvement on the D4, although of course, again, it isn't 4-sided, but they had to cut the tops off of the really sharp ones, the ones that Game Science and stuff makes anyway. So that's a pretty neat one. This one's a 16, which the previous 16 was more like a D10. Let me see if I can grab a D10 for you. Ah, here's a D8. Previous 16 was sort of like this, where it had a number of triangular sides just stacked on another number of triangular sides. This one's more round. It fits the theme with other dice better, I think. And the same for this D24. Previous D24 is like a D6, which is a 6-sided die here, one of these, except there's like a triangle carved into each face, right, or a pyramid, 4-sided pyramid carved into each face, so that you get 24 sides, because for each face it turns into 24. This one's more rounded, nicer looking. It, fits the aesthetic of the dice more. So those are some ones that are the same but different compared to the last one. We've got a couple newcomers though. First we've got these guys, which are the black sheep of the family. These are by Impact Miniatures, designed by, I think, Magic. I'll put a link in the description, hopefully, to these guys. Impact Miniatures makes a lot of these crazy dice, and Magic designs a lot of them that can be so that they can be 3D printed and then produced by Impact. I believe they work like that. I don't know exactly. This one is a 13. Boom. It would go, and this one is a 15. If I can find that. There we are. 15-sided die. They made these in purple and black first, so I got black because it sort of matches. And I thought they were going to be like a limited edition thing. They are probably a limited edition thing, but they are made in white now, so I guess I'm going to have to get those. But this fills out the odd collection, and they just look so weird. I love these ones where it's a circle. So they started with a circle and then flattened some of the edges, and then exactly opposite a flat spot. So there's a flat spot there, but you see it has no number in it. Opposite a flat spot, you have a number, so there's 7. So, and this one's actually one of the weirdest ones, because you can't land on that 7, and you're not gonna, this flat spot's never gonna come up, because there's no flat spot directly beneath it. Really nice design, really clever. Of course, they're not true dice, but it's harder and harder to find true dice these days. We got this guy, which is a 22. I'm surprised I didn't already have one, actually. Pretty unspectacular, honestly. It's rounded like the rest of them. I don't know if this is done in the same way, because I don't think you can do a true 22-sided die. Yeah, it's looking the same, because that looks pentagonal there. Sorry, I'm keeping it out of frame. It looks pentagonal there, and this looks more hexagonal. So I think that's another similar design. Might also be made in the same way. I'll look that up, and maybe if I can remember, put it in the description. Got this one. This one's pretty cool. This one's a D48, 48-sided die. Let's see if I can find the 48. It's kind of difficult because it doesn't really stand out. There's 45. That glare is really helping, right? This one's made by a different company, and as you can tell, I mean, the numbers are just so much guess weaker would be the term. They're just so much smaller than the previous numbers. They aren't as well made either. Let me see if I can really get you some detail up there. Well, I try and find the 48, but in some of these you can see that the ink didn't fully get in there, or sometimes in like that case the 1 and the 34, it got too much ink in there and it didn't all get taken off in the finishing process. So these don't feel as high quality, but they're really neat, especially with their next product, which I'll show you once I find the 48, because I'm just, there it is, 48. Man, I probably went by that a couple times and everyone was screaming at their computer like a madman. Anyway, there's 48. That's an interesting one. I like it because it's so much smaller than the 50 and so much easier to roll. This thing, you just destroy everything in its path. It's like a top of doom. But this guy's nice. Anyway, I have another one by this company that's great. But first I'm going to show you these guys. These are the Fudge Dice. These I was going to get with the original set, but I just didn't. The way these work is they have 2 minuses, 2 pluses, and 2 blanks. They're fancy D3s essentially, and you take a set of them for whatever RPG you're playing, so there's a certain number probably that you can roll per character, and there are probably stats that add and subtract dice that you can roll, and you roll them, and these 2 are minuses, this is nothing, and these 2 are positives. It's a negative, positive. And so they actually cancel each other out, so the overall roll there is neutral, which in general, if you're rolling odd, I guess if you're rolling even too, in general you should roll neutral, but this one's really good. This one's triple positive. So, anyway, those are mainly for RPGs. They're Fudge Dice, so they work with the Fudge system. I think some companies also make them branded as Fate Dice. Fate is another RPG system that uses them, I believe. I've never actually used these. I don't really plan to use them, although I am kind of interested in the systems that use them. I don't know if these will see any real use, but they're interesting. Strange way to do a 3-sided die. I find this superior. I've always found the actual 3s superior to these ones. They have, I mean, obviously 3-sided die that just say 1, 2, 3 twice, or 6-sided die that just say 1, 2, 3 twice. That are D3s. So that's that. And then we have the mother of all dice that you've hopefully been waiting for, and if not, you're pleasantly surprised. This guy is huge. This guy is bigger than a golf ball. He's 120 sides of pure plastic. 120 is the largest true die, and what true die means, from my understanding, is the sides are all the same shape, and they all touch each other. Like, they all fit up against the other ones. So these circle dice that I was mentioning earlier, ones like this, or these ones especially, don't count as true dice. Although, I mean, they look like dice to me. But the shapes on here are all triangular. If you see, they're all arranged in this pattern that looks to me like it's 10 to a face, and they all exactly touch each other. Now it looks like it's cheating a little bit, probably because this guy's been through a rock tumbler or some other sort of smoothing process, because basically they mold the die, they put it in ink so that the ink gets inside the numbers, and then you put it in a tumbler, and that smooths all the faces down, makes it much less pointy, so that you can actually, you know, stand to hold it and roll it, and it gets all the ink off the outside so that the ink remains only in the numbers. In general, that's my understanding of how that process works. And as you can see, this one is made by the same company that made that 48 over there. They both have similar just graphic design. I mean, it's just a different font. And these guys also this one has the same quality control problems, although it's much harder to see on camera. I hope you guys can see some of that. We've got some just odd, I mean, the numbers are stretched as well. Here's one with too much ink. There's some with too little ink. It's just kind of odd. But from far away, it doesn't look bad at all. Let's see if I can find the 120 for you guys. There's a lot of numbers on here to look at. Someone might have already seen the 120. I've just been throwing this thing around. I don't have... It's hard to... There it is, got it. Wow. 120. and it's still unceremoniously tucked in there. Of course, it's a die, so it should be fair. I would want to roll this thing. In fact, I'll try. And that was a very light roll. I've got a 110, I believe. That's another really hard one. You really have to get right over top of it to actually see what number you roll. But with large dice, that's a general problem. This thing is actually harder to roll than this guy, the 50, the 100, which of course has that little beans in it, but it's still hard to roll. And this guy, which is the 60, which is actually also made by this company, which makes very odd dice, of course. So it's just a giant ball of plastic. If you really roll this, it will not stop. Although it is less ball shaped, it does like to buck much more than this 60 here, which is just a ball. It's not a, it's almost not a die. It's a ball. People joke that this is a ball, but at least it's designed to stop. It's got that outer plastic casing with beans inside so that it loses its inertia after a moment. This guy just keeps rolling. This guy and this guy are probably tied. We've got a more massive die here, although this guy does stay put and this guy doesn't. We've got a more massive die here, and we've got a more round die here, and this guy's just annoying. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the companies that I got these from. Most of the time I get them from the Dice Shop online. I got almost everything here, including these guys from the Dice Shop online. Pretty cool guys. I believe they helped bring some of these, working with Impact, some of these into existence, which is really nice. I just like all the different types of dice. The second one is a company that is called Tessellations. Tessellations. But their website is mathartfun.com. They give you fun bookmarks that have math stuff on them, like pi, wonderful, and factorials, Fibonacci numbers, all sorts of stuff everyone cares about. Actually, it's really cool. I like it. And then their bags for dice come with these business cards that tell you where they are. Dice. They're the Dice Lab. They're at Math Art Fun, and the company is Tessellations. It's a bit strange, but here is some truncated D8s, truncated D4 that I mentioned there. And still some other interesting stuff, but yeah, they're the ones that make the 120 and the 60, if that even focuses. There we go. Numerically Balanced D20. They make a D24 as well. I think that might be this. Is this the D24 that's one of these? I've lost track. These dice do kind of look similar when you have so many of them. Anyway, that was that D24, that rounded one I mentioned earlier. They make that one as well, although I think I got that from somebody else. And it doesn't tell you here, but they did make this D48. So those are another cool company. A lot of their stuff is available from the Dice Shop, but it wasn't all available when I ordered, so I went and ordered from them by themselves, and they have some other neat stuff, like as you saw there, the weird dice that don't look like they're fair but are supposedly fair, and I don't really care about those. I just like the different numbers of sides. So let's get these organized and in the video. Alrighty then, with some difficulty we get everything in frame, and we can see that we have the 1 over here. I'm just going to pick that one up, but I'm not going to pick the rest up. We have the 2, we have 3 different types of 3, 2 different types of 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, a 9, 2 types of 10s, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, can't count anymore, 18, 20, a 22, 2 different types of 24s, you can pick your one, 30, 48, a 50, which doesn't actually have a 50 on it, it's just got a 0 and it's really hard to keep it in place, 60, 100, and 120. Make some big jumps there in the end, but I think if you filled in too many, you'd have a bit of a problem. Looking for 17, I think that's on the way, if it's not already out. 19 as well. 21 seems like it'd be a bit harder, but still pretty cool. About that point, I don't know, maybe to 25, that'd be good. You get counting numbers up to 25. That'd be pretty sweet for me. I'd be happy. But until then, this is very easily available stuff. There's probably a couple other numbers that are easily available. This is most of what I could find. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching. Bye.